Originally for college, I went in there looking for a good education where I could find in my field of study. Then I started looking at state schools such as Ohio State University, Columbus State. I started looking at Bowling Green State University, and then I went to a college fair with my cousin to Otterbein, and we were going around to different booths, and I stopped in front of one that was Florida Southern College because I was like, oh hey, Florida sounds like a really nice place to live and go to school. So I started talking to the woman that was standing in front of there. She was the admissions counselor, and her name was Kristen. And she started asking me questions, and the first question she asked me was what I was looking for in a school. I answered her with the obvious, which was I want a good education in my field of study, which is environmental science. And she told me that we have a very good environmental science program at our college. But what do you really want from a college other than just a good education? Is there anything else? So I thought about the answer for a few seconds, and I told her that I did want more from a school. I wanted a place that I felt like I belonged. I wanted a bunch of friendships that would last me a lifetime, like they talk about in movies and how my siblings talked about. And lastly, I wanted everything to connect for me. I wanted it to mean something overall in life as a whole, which I think is something that everybody truly does want, is everything to connect. So she told me that she was really happy that I answered her with that last part because that's what a liberal arts college is all about. She told me that I should look into different liberal arts schools. Even if it wasn't their school, I should still look into those. So I started looking at different schools all over the country, in Michigan, Florida, Ohio, a couple in California, things like that. But I decided to go to Capital University. It's in Bexley in Ohio, so I could be close to home, close to my friends, everything like that. So when I went to Capital, I knew it was going to be a liberal arts school, and I was very excited about that. According to an article in USA Today, there have been a lot of complaints about liberal arts colleges because of the low prospects in grad schools and in jobs and things like that. But I took a survey of 4 questions through my communications class, and the 4 questions that I asked were if they were a transient student at Columbus State taking the class over the summer. I asked them if their home school, if they had a home school, was public or private. I asked them if it was a liberal arts college, and then I asked if they didn't, then why didn't they choose a liberal arts college. They responded with that 66.7% of them were transient students. Then of those, all of them went to a public school, and none of them went to a liberal arts school. And then when I asked them why not, they responded with money issues. They responded with they didn't know what that would do for them, and they also didn't really care. To me, that was how I felt at the beginning, but then when I looked into it, I saw that there was actually a purpose to going to a liberal arts school. The Association of American Colleges and Universities described liberal arts education as an approach to college learning that empowers individuals and prepares them to deal with complexity, diversity, and change. This approach emphasizes broad knowledge of the wider world, such as science, culture, and society, as well as an in-depth achievement in a specific field of interest. That quote explains some of the huge benefits of going to a liberal arts school, but it doesn't contain all of them that the benefits of a liberal arts school should have, that they do have, and that is why a lot more people should consider looking into a liberal arts education. Some kids don't want to be another face in the crowd. They don't want to just be someone that their professor doesn't realize that they're not there when they're absent that day. At a liberal arts college, the average class size is about 20 or fewer, and the average size of the college is about 2,000 or fewer. This gives a good student to faculty ratio, on average being about 20 to 1. And that's really nice for students when they're in class and they need to ask questions specifically in that lecture, and they don't have to wait for office hours, or they don't have to wait until after class to ask, where The professor may not realize at what point in the lecture they were confused or what section of the class they're even in to know what they're talking about. So this gives the professor the ability to have the time to talk to the students individually and be as helpful as they can, so they can ask the questions. A lot of people say that a small school doesn't have to be a liberal arts school to be a small school and to have that time and focus on each individual student. But the professors at a liberal arts college, according to USA Today, they actually focus on the students' learning as a whole, and they want them to have a well-rounded education. Going to college doesn't only prepare you for just having an education, it prepares you for life. Because of the size of a typical liberal arts college, you're going to have closer knitted communities, and you're going to have closer friends, and that's something that I really wanted from going to a liberal arts school, was that I wanted friendships to last me a lifetime. I wanted good friends that were going to be there to help me when I work. And I know from experience that a lot of the time you're going to have classes with the people that are on your floor or down the hall or anything like that, and that's really helpful because you're able to do projects with them, and you're able to study with them, and you're able to do a lot of things like that. I had a lot of classes with my friends this year that were on my floor down the hallway, and this coming semester I actually have every single class with one of my best friends, so that's going to be really awesome to have that. It prepares you in life. It prepares you for life in other ways too. Grad schools, internships, employers, they really look into if you went to a public, private, or a liberal arts school. The school boards, the employers, they know that with smaller class sizes, the students are more likely to write more, to read more, to do more presentations, to work on group projects together, and you're going to do that more often than not than any other traditional institution. A survey that the National Association of Colleges and Employers released that most skills that grad schools and employers want are going to be communication skills, analytical skills, and communication skills, teamwork skills. These are all things that liberal arts schools really focus on because they know that that's important in life, and it builds a huge wealth of knowledge across a variety of things. Liberal arts schools, they have open-ended learning. Although they prepare you specifically towards your major or towards your field of study, they have a more narrow path and things like that, but they do also provide you with experiences that people tend to wait until grad school to have, such as field experience and field research and things like that. So according to CBS News, liberal arts schools actually produce 2 times as many people that move on to get a PhD than any other traditional institution, which is extremely impressive. Overall, I think most people would benefit from going to or looking into a liberal arts education. Even if they don't end up going there, then they know that those are the things that they need to have to be successful in their life and to be happy. I am getting the things that I told Kristen that I really wanted from my education experience. I told her that I wanted a good sense of community, I wanted to be prepared, and I wanted it all to connect. And I get that from a good close-knit community, and I get that from all the classes that I'm in and the professors that take the time for me. I really get that. Many people would say that you could find these things at a traditional or a larger school, and I beg to differ. I think that because of the size and because of the professors that want to teach you to be a whole and to get connected, and the tightly knitted communities that you do end up being in, that I think that a liberal arts school is going to take you farther than any other traditional institution. I do have Kristen to thank for me going to a liberal arts education, because she is the one that pushed me towards a liberal arts school, and I'm very